Mm-hmm. Hmm. What up, though? What's up, fellas? Let me tell you. You know, if I do stay single long enough, you can believe I'm going to keep going on hardcore gaming. And I'll say, what else? What's the best use of my fucking time? And I'll probably game on social media, but don't be one of these pouty motherfuckers who gets off Tinder because he's not getting results. You know, you keep your skills sharp and keep evolving. How would you feel if any of these dudes were like, we shouldn't have to be on YouTube? YouTube's fucking stupid. And then you guys are like, I like YouTube. Why are you dissing me? So, in the same way, you kind of seem like grumpy grandfather if you're not like on YouTube. Personally, I don't necessarily get it, but maybe that's because I haven't put in the fucking time. And like, should you really be fucking young women if you don't care enough to fucking put in the time to fucking learn a bit about their culture? Um, you know, maybe, maybe not. When I watch my buddy Mike, and it's about learning about Snapchat or whatever, you know, what an important thing to do is to invest the time into it. And now Tinder's a funny thing because, for instance, you can't fucking put too much game in Tinder. Now, I just went through a period where I didn't put anything in the bio. I went through a period where I just put an ad pic with no face. I went through a period where I put where I went to college, what kind of fucking license I have, what kind of fucking jobs I have, all this shit. You try a lot of different things. And the thing is it's going to be different for every guy. And what makes it so different is the fucking picture and what you look like, you know. Guys are so mad at clubs, you know. But maybe you could be grateful that a bunch of DJs, promoters, and real estate people put together a venue to bring the girls out to meet you. You know, and guys can be so bitter about having to pay a fucking cover, and like, do you know how much work and fucking time and effort goes into putting those fucking shit together, the venues and the bricks and mortar, and then getting all the girls in there? Give them their 20 fucking bucks and show them some love. You know what I mean? Like, we spend so much time giving you, and a lot of this is free fucking shit. So if we do put out a product, fucking buy it, and or just fucking PayPal me some money. I need money, bro. I fucking need it for real, bro. Like, rather than being bitter about the future, embrace it and be happy. Now go ahead and do 100 push-ups and 3 sets of leg lifts. You're fucking looking good. You're looking fucking good, money. It's the way of the future. It's the way of the future. It's the way of the future. was so interested in me, and she just can't admit it, dude. You know what I mean? Where'd she walk? I don't know where the fuck she went. She disappeared. Oh, she went in there. Oh, I was being recorded? I knew that. Good job on those push-ups. I just did a cold approach, and good for me. You know what? You always got to remind yourself every fucking cold approach is you're taking a W no matter what happened. Because you had the balls to fucking do it, you know? Now, obviously, you don't want to fucking turn into some toxic, fucking, horrible fucking situation. And one thing I hate is showing women disrespect to their face. I don't really love doing that. And I don't love calling women hoes and bitches, but it's more of a thematic device for this fictional film, and also it can help dudes who are just too beta fucking get out of their fucking pedestal mentality. You know what I mean? Get out of that pedestal mentality. And women don't want that. I'm liking the color mixed with the black. I'll do it. Man, I'm working hard today, and I'm smoking less and less, and I'm loving it. But I still don't love how my face looks. But I do love my face, don't get me wrong. But in my mind, a lot of what I'm going through is I wish I was thinner, I wish I was more cut. But the funny thing is I've gotten thinner and more cut before, and I still have the same facial symmetry. I still have the same spirit in my eyes, whether it's good or bad. And so I gotta remember, it's not everything, bro. It's really not everything. Having a little twinkle in your eyes can be a lot more powerful than having a little less of these cheeks. And some people like these cheeks. You know what I mean? These chubby cheeks, the fat neck, the fucking distended abdomen, all that shit. I mean, look at how fucking pimp fucking Owen is, bro. Sometimes it's like you're a coach. You don't just fucking force your system on the personnel. You see the personnel and you adjust the system to fit their strengths. I think is a good way to do it. I find that Todd is very he's very beholden to his college soccer coach, frankly, for better or for worse. And sometimes I'm not sure if it's better or worse. And I understand that because I was a national level high school basketball player. It's like you're in a cult with these coaches sometimes, especially if your fucking self-esteem's real tied up in that shit, which for most guys who get to any sort of higher level, that's definitely the fucking case. And they control the playing time, unless you pimp it like the Ball brothers. But look what happened to the Ball brothers. But I don't know what did happen to the Ball brothers. You know what I mean? So what are we doing? We're turning. I just cold approached from like 20 feet away a blonde who had some cute scarf on. She was put together pretty nice. I think she worked at like a store here, and maybe I'll fucking do a location for it on the next one. But anyways, that's back there. I said hi, hey, and I think she was stuck in that San Francisco Marina mentality. Well, okay, I'm projecting a lot of my shit on her. Let's see what the shit I'm projecting, and then let's break it down. I think she was stuck in that San Francisco Marina mentality. I look a little rough, probably, because I got on the sweatpants. I do have on some dress shoes, but they're kind of busted dress shoes with the laces are taken out. I got my fucking hips to sweatband. I've got my fucking BDSM shit. I've got the playful scarf, the zany scarf, and the zany glasses. I've got the masculine shit. And you would think this graybeard would tell her, look, baby, I've been around the block a few times. I know how to behave myself. But anyway, she kind of fight-flighted. She looked at me, and then she turned around and kept walking. And then I said, that's an indication of low interest, so I'm going to leave you alone. And then I kind of beat myself up for not being persistent enough and not bringing enough high energy into it. But I I wasn't really walking in that direction. I think she was on a break from work, and she probably didn't want to be hit on right outside of the storefront where she works, and I can understand that. But I can also assume that she does want to, and she is into me, and that's what I do, because that's the correct move. And maybe I gave up a little easy, you know what I mean? And then later she took a look at me as I was walking out, and I just fucking gave up non-attention, which probably raised my value, and who knows, I'll see her again, you know? So that's kind of that mystery building shit. And I'm not, I mean, I haven't been in that I'm polling tonight mode like I was when I was in law school in Vegas for much. And I kind of want to get back there, but that's a fucking high intensity way to live. And it's cool, but it's fucking high intensity. And sometimes you got to get yourself... Why am I talking like I'm from fucking Long Island? What is my real voice? Is this it? Is this my real voice, baby? I'm going to put a little bass in my real voice. I'm going to put a little bass in my real voice. And I like the feedback I'm getting from Kadira. And she and I had a fucking intense fucking kick exchange last night. She don't like it when I'm spitting game to her, and I'm fucking sending her these kind of aggressive texts. She likes me cute and calm, and I'm sending her these fucking aggressive texts that are like, well, you want to keep chasing daddy's validation. Fucking, you know, I'm a reach, and that's why you want to. And I'm just spitting game at her in this kind of like a little bit minimizing, nagging way. And she's in her 40s, bro, or 30s. I don't know. She looks like she's about 28. And she's very nubile for her age and voluptuous. And that's all I'll say. But she likes me cute and calm. And I think I like the sound of my own voice and the look of my own words. And a lot of times I think that's fucked. I gotta get over that, you know what I mean? And I gotta make sure my baby girl has water. Baby girl does have water. I love you. I love you, sweetie pie. Do you not like having your bed under the bed? So it's all in the dark. She's kind of got her bed back, further behind the bed now. Here we go. We'll go into place number 2. All right. Game don't stop. One thing that I'm interested in. Hi, watcher. Like, let's talk about, you know, going from being just so into your purpose as a motherfucker, and let's talk about the differences between pickup and businesses. Okay, now in pickup, childlike narcissism is helpful. Childlike narcissism. Yo, we're gonna blah blah blah. Yo, we're gonna go get pizza. And the girl's like, no, I can't. Now in business, you're like, all right, that's wonderful. In pickup, it's like, no, I can't go get pizza. And then be like, fine, you can't go for pizza. I'm not letting you go for pizza. Pizza's for the cool kids. I never want to take you for pizza ever again. Do it in a playful way. And then she's like, fine, I'm not going for pizza. And then you're like, pizza, who wants pizza? And then you go to her friends, and you fuck with that, and you go to her friends, and you fuck with that, and you exclude her, and you make a big fucking stupid fucking game, and then she winds up coming for pizza. And that's pickup in a fun, playful way. You know what I mean? Now, I might be wrong. You want to do the deal, your friend wants to do the deal, maybe it'll work. I never actually thought about it until now. You know, and that's why, like, in business, and there's a great book by Stephen Covey that says, seek first to understand rather than be understood. So in business, you really want to understand the other person's position. But in business, there's more of a degree of professionalism. I've seen a lot of guys that run pickup companies, they just can't handle business because they think they can fucking approach business shit as though they're talking to a bunch of hoes. And you'll text them back and be like, bro, I'm not one of your hoes. Oh, I'm not talking to you. And then I'll be like, look, I know this works on your hoes. I'm not one of your hoes. Just talk to me normal. And I literally have to tell them this. And that's the other side of it. And then the other quick thing I'd say is it's important for your mind to be playful and have fun, and your mind's very flooded. Business can be more linear. The law can be more linear unless it's a creative project, which is weird about the arts and the biz. Shout out to all the colorblind people. Oh my God, that's a reach. No, it's not. It's a peach. And you might want to know as a relatively new guy, oh, I lost that person, huh? How could, no, they're still there. They're still watching. Thank you. Thank you. We have, like, shit that we need to talk about here. I wonder if you are a special person watching. I wonder if you're really watching. You can fucking type shit in and tell me. Alright? With any skill that you're working on, it's important to actually track your progress. Track your progress. That requires discipline, and it also requires getting over your ego. In business, you want a marketing calendar. Guys who are into social dynamics, they often never track their progress. Only about 20% of guys in the game write a field report every night. The rest of you are going to be sticking to fucking heels. It's hard to do a field report. You know, these videos stack its accounts, field reports, but what I found I had to do is I had to also write down a field report. If you write, and that's what makes police so great, is they write police reports and they get fucking sharper. Shut out law enforcement. Mad respect and respect the troops. Don't trust your brain. Your mind will make up shit on you. Write it down. Dedicated practice is important as well. Dedicated focus, repetition, practice. I used to be going to network marketing events, media events, and I'd say that, oh, okay, I want to talk to 5 contacts tonight. And I'd just like have a few drinks, and I'd get a little fun, and I'd forget what my fucking goal is. So it's good to go out with goals. And so when I'd go out, I'd actually have my phone or my alarm, and I'd set an alarm on my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning to go off and remind me that which I wish to work on and practice, so I wouldn't get all fucking off the map, which us creative types can do. So what's important is to inject accountability into your fucking going out and you're going out having fun. I find a lot more fun if I feel like I'm doing some productive shit, you know. So write some field reports, figure out what you're doing well, figure out what you're not doing so well. And like at a lot of the immersions, there's these debriefs that can be very useful. It's basically like 3D field reports, you know. And like guys who are successful take that shit really far. They think that what's results. Some guys put results over happiness, and I'm not down in that, you know. But some guys take that shit far. They just want to win. They put that shit over their own happiness. And what is that if not delayed gratification? Do you want to go out to have fun, or do you want to go out to win? All right, 100 push-ups. What's up? If you get to a certain good level, you get to a certain point where you put the effort, you might do good at it, you know? Now, there's a point where some of us wanted to be a doctor, right? And then you realize how much fucking school you gotta do, and you say, fuck that. And, you know, and go get a degree in fucking marketing or go to law school or whatever. And I don't like bitch about not being a doctor like my dad. Well, that guy was rich. His parents paid for it. Yeah, some guys be like, man, white guys can do pickup, but we can't. Then you have white guys being like, man, everybody wants these a black dick in her. Let's say, if you gotta work harder, then work harder. I love it when black people are like, being black means you have to work twice as hard. I love that fucking attitude. That's dope. I fucking adopt it in other contexts because I am black. Just a tiny fucking percentage black, but I'm the light skin. I'm light skin. You know what I mean? Some cats say we have it easier, but I don't know. Usually the guys who are on the forum who are complaining that they didn't get a result, it's just an indication they're not doing game. Guys with game can be like, alright, let's score across this week. This game shit doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it's like, what's wrong with you, bro? If you're not gaming. You know, you can't be a little bitch. You can't be a bitch if you're not fucking kicking in the game. And that's somewhere where like I want to give myself some credit that I have persisted because I've been through some shit, dog. But at the same time, I also want to fucking recognize that I've been that little bitch. Who quit doing cold approach or whatever. Ugh, I'm not liking the 6. Texas is different than New York, you know? You don't have to be scared of Texas or Austin. But if you just rampage through the street just screaming at people that this is game, this is game, this is game, and you just explain it to all the guys who are like, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. That's just, you know. And that's like if you're lifting weights and your arms fall off and you're bragging to everybody about how you lift, and you're like, how much you bench, bro? You know? Man, my short-term memory is fucking negligible, bro. I can see a street and I can't even fucking remember what fucking street literally half a fucking second later. Just say you didn't want to learn game, but don't fucking complain that game doesn't work, bro. You know, don't make some larger sweeping generalization that's gonna help you feel better about the fact that you did the fucking bad work, you know? So if you approach 3 girls this year, and 100% of those 3 girls thought you were an ugly, toxic chode worm, you know? You know? So. So, some tips for hard cases, you know, is just that, bro. Just that. Stick with it. I used to teach piano. You know what I mean? Stick with it. You want to fucking do it. And if you don't, just admit that you didn't want to do it. And either way, it's fine. But what's not fine is to fucking not stick with it and then complain that it was not possible or whatever the fuck, you know? Minimize that. Be careful about fucking all or nothing statements. Love yourself. Love each other. Love women. Love men. Love transgenders. Love everybody. You know what I mean? Love, 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 love. Is Old Spice chody? Body spray? It's not probably as chody as Axe. This is grown man shit. But really, what I really like to do is go to Fragonard in Paris and fucking just fucking, you know, pop tags basically. I mean, popping tags. Another thing that's good is fucking insert some fucking fun into your fucking day. Maybe one thing I love to do is just listen to that song Popping Tags with Jay-Z, 3 Stacks. Popping Tag. I think Twist is on there too. Yeah. That song's fucking pure fun. You know what I mean? Just have pure fun. And it never hurts to be pure fun to the fucking people you're hanging out with. You know? Being pure fun in business, being pure fun in art, but it's almost never the wrong move to be more fun. Whatever fucking said it. You know what I mean? Life's short. Fun focused. Be fun focused. And that's hard, especially for a lot of white guys who grew up with like parents who were like high achievers, you know, or had jobs where people died if they didn't do their job or some shit. It's, you know, it's like Tupac said. You're gonna see some shit that's gonna make it hard to ever smile. It's shit like that, you know, but you gotta find a way. But you gotta find a way. I'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. You at home, the one fucking person watching this, do 100 push-ups right now, and then 3 sets of fucking leg lifts, 45 seconds each on your back. Lift that shit up 6 inches. do the push-ups and sit-ups? If so, great. Do you think I'm bluffing? Do you think I have fucking NSA security clearance and I can see whether or not you did them via the fucking camera on the fucking laptop or phone you're watching this on? The device? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Why is it whenever you park in front of somebody's fucking driveway, that person fucking needs to get out of their fucking shit? Is that Murphy's Law? Is that what that is? Like, they probably didn't use their fucking driveway, but 20 seconds of the day, and if you park there for 4 minutes, those 20 seconds seem to occur in those 4 minutes. Is the cause a correlation? Is that true? Or is that just fucking bullshit? You know? Who knows? Who knows? One thing, hey. No, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Gosh dang. I'm not. I don't think. Who knows? Maybe I am. I like to put off a little gay vibe because I feel like people fucking maybe fucking see me as a douchey straight white male, and sometimes I like to throw them off. I can't fucking make myself look fucking dark skinned. I don't need to go Megyn Kelly blackface shit, Ted Danza shit. I can't make myself seem a lot of other way, but I can't make myself seem gay, so sometimes I do that. So, one thing. Yeah. Are you trying to troll me? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you want me to be gay? Now, let's talk misconceptions about learning, okay? There's a lot of gurus out there that say that they listen to Audible at 3 times speed. I actually listened to Corey Wayne's book, probably not the 15 times he told me to read it, but you know what, I'm going to do it again, but I still am kind of like, Corey, really? 15 times? Really? I'd rather watch like some of Corey's other videos. A lot of people ask me, GI, CC, how do you get good at so many fucking things? You're great at investing, you're a champion at basketball and tennis. And pickup, and you're fucking passed so many bar exams, and you fucking just you're a brilliant musician, guitar, piano, vocals, you're a brilliant producer. Here's the thing about learning. A lot of guys, the game in particular, they go out, they bang their heads against the wall, and they don't get anywhere. And then I see other guys, and then they implement a smart way who gets good at it, rapid pace, and gets good results, and then has that winner effect. And then it keeps getting better. Now, there's many people out there that says, oh, 3 times speed is how I listen to Audible, and I'm able to consume so many books a day. And that can tend to create confusion over what learning really fucking is. You start to look at quantity of words you're consuming. That doesn't mean you're fucking learning something so much faster. Learning and intelligence is not necessarily about volume of consumption. It's more about what you are retaining in a way that assimilates that information into your world in a useful way. Now, many guys come into the game and implement a process where they create encyclopedic manuals, watch every fucking video and book, and they never go out in the fucking field, you know, which is bad because you might have an incredibly voluminous body of knowledge and no idea what is good or bad information, specifically as it relates to the strengths that you have, which creates a bad model to proceed from. A far better approach is to venture out into the world and then apply some of the information on a consistent basis and then see where you're having trouble. which can motivate you to learn more information. You're not going to feel like you're arduously going through it. You're going to be more upbeat about the path to learning, you know, and towards better sex and more fruitful exchanges with people. When you're working at something that you're into, the motivation goes through the roof. Plus, you're going to be able to suss out what's good information and what's not such good information. You know, some guys, those guys who escaped from Alcatraz, they really fucking made it, bro. And they wound up living in Argentina. No lie, no lie. Now, if information is a nebulous body of work, it's not so cool. And that became true with my learning patent law. Let's talk about athletes. Who's more likely to score the bucket? The guy who can do 20 techniques but can't do any of them very well, or the guy who has a knockout punch. And that's what they taught Agassi at Bolletarian. That's why he focused on his fucking forehand so much. So you want to know the knowledge and not fucking consider how much knowledge you know, but how much you know the knowledge that you do know. It's not about breadth of knowledge or consumption. Wait, what did you just say? I had a gay vibe, something about Brazil. I didn't see that. I was a national merit finalist. I passed the bar exam a year earlier, whatever. But I've done a lot of things that are not intelligent. Social calibration was very difficult. Okay. Some people have hella fucking complex fucking. What did you say? I didn't see the thing about Brazil. I just saw the gay vibe. Who's a picture in Brazil? They made it. Oh, you're talking about the dudes that who? Yeah. No, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. It's almost like a compliment because gay dudes typically have a bit more swag and style, and a lot of them carry themselves in a more masculine frame, which I do like. And I've been talking in this kind of a bit, and I want to talk in a more masculine frame. A man who takes himself and his life seriously, but is still fun. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of zaniness there, but at the end, it's a man in his 40s who takes himself seriously. He knows what he wants, he knows where he's going, and he's aware of where he's been, and he's turned everywhere where he's been into a W going forward rather than an L. Yeah, they did. I've got to go for a few seconds. Do 100 push-ups, and I want to find out more about you. Do 100 push-ups and those leg lifts, and we'll pick it up in a minute. best grades. There was a reason I didn't get fucking the best grades. And because when teachers assigned us busy, stupid fucking work, I didn't always do it because I didn't really fucking care. And so I wasn't that perfect 4.0 cat. So I might not have turned in assignments, but come test time, it's like straight 110%, you know? Um, and what's particularly important, I lost my view, is knowledge that builds on other knowledge. And that's important because you're learning for application and the purpose of that knowledge rather than applying that knowledge. In the real world, that's how learning really makes sense because you're not all about effing grades, you know? Now, what some people do is sit in class and write down damn near everything the teacher utters, which is so stupid, you know? You just want to learn in that moment. When you're just writing it all down, you're not really paying attention. I used to wonder if that was a deeper level of processing, but I understand that you're not really that paying proper attention in that moment, and you're really relying on the idea that you're going to learn it later and studying it later in a less optimal environment when you don't have that live stimuli to teach it. If you saw my notes when I was in class or school, I would take notes, but what I would do is not write the word for word. I would write about something that sparked an idea, and then I apply it in a broader context even to other classes, and I'd keep myself so invested in learning in a manner that was broad and tied in with my goals in life and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do and what interested me. And so that's very helpful. I was able to pick up the piano at like 19, and within like a year I could play, and you can find it on YouTube, I could play Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C sharp minor, and I was pretty good at it, you know what I mean? I mean, there is expression in the performance there, you know. I'm impressed by it, you know. Now I don't shred on the piano like I used to, but I might even be better these days because of all my busking and all my fucking open mic and all my recording and all my, you know, trying to do my thing and live shows and whatnot. Performance, I might be better on the piano now than I was when I had that Rachmaninoff memorized and I was playing it, rote memorization, and I could play it really fast. But honestly, I don't like. I used to shred, and I don't really do that. But that didn't, you know, whatever. That doesn't mean. Don't stop saying. And stop saying. Now, again, you need to crisscross information and make connections with those ideas which you already have. And the ones you remember are the ones that you're going to have connections to. Now, there's an experiment with chess players that's interesting. And what they do is take pieces on a chessboard and ask beginners versus grand members to fucking remember them. When they put them in random, there was no difference in retention. But when they put them in a fucking context that was like a high-level chess match, the grandmasters had a much higher fucking retention of where exactly those pieces were because they could consume it and understand it. Learning is not about rote memorization. It's about being able to understand something and understand it and then freestyle on it. Now, if you need a reason why to look for a grade, maybe implement that. But what you gotta process is that it's digging deep fundamentally, which leads to real learning. And you want to be able to implement whatever information you are learning. So, the journey for the experts on getting good at pickup often involves going out a fucking lot. And I mean to the point where you're going to feel like a freak and a creep and all that shit. And a loner sometimes because you won't be able to find motherfuckers to do it. But you go out a lot of guys do field reports. The point is, though, you need to review the information. The point is, don't just review the set and not review the information and then do it. You should break it down and you should learn from it. There's times I've gone years where I don't do that, and that can be interesting as well. But I think it's far preferable to maintain cognizance of whether or not there's trends and sticking points in opening or pulling or hooking, or a sticking point of not taking risks, or a sticking point of being doing too many fucking risky things and blowing out your sets like right in. And then instead of trying to bang your head against the wall with each individual sticking point, that can be very important. Now, you can't just do a set and then be like, yo, it's done, and then do another one and be demanding that your cranium figure it out at random. You need to break that stuff down, and that's something I did in tennis. And you just have problems hooking or pulling or opening. Or there might be an overall theme. It's the sticking point of you're too risk averse and you don't take any. And if you could fix that common thread, that could be very helpful instead of banging your head against the wall with respect to each individual sticking point. So this afterwards analysis is of tremendous use. Now, we know that you don't want to be doing all this analysis in the field, but afterwards you want to organize it and analyze it with intention, specifically as to where it's breaking down and also where it's working and what you're doing is working. Now, a lot of the early pickup artist material was terrible advice, and it could set you on the wrong path. But the good news was that if you stay practicing and evaluating actively, you can do essentially discard your gurus. There's no such thing as a human guru. There's information, there's sources of information, and there's people who know more than you might in a subject, but there's nobody who's just like, infallible. Even if somebody's had a phenomenal idea, it doesn't mean all the ideas are phenomenal. If someone has had good ideas, it's more likely that they're an intelligent person overall, but don't just blindly assume that they are. Now, at the beginning of pickup, there's so much bad information out there in the early 2000s, but you could take a few good kernels and you can learn and you can progress. And the pickup community grows, and you'll meet people who know more and people who are more entrenched in that community. You wind up having better and better ideas that you're exposed to, and garnering mentors and actually meeting these people instead of just talking to them on the forum. And that's a point at which it's an interactive process by asking questions of them. So that's the point where I started to get good at hanging around some of the fucking truly best players in the game. And what was good is being willing to go backwards and forwards. So even when I became instructor level, I was willing to go backwards and revisit acting like a beginner and making a fool of myself and trying new things and gaming at a substandard level than that which I could, because I understood. And Dane Cook does this sometimes when he goes up on the stage. He might do it for a different purpose, and he tries to just bomb and get out all the toxic energy. And that relates to being interested in knowing that gap of that which you can know, rather than clenching tightly into that shit that you are good in. And so whenever a new style of game comes out, it's good to try it. And the criteria is you're not allowed to give up on the new style until you've tried it and got success at it. You know, you can't just say, oh, this style doesn't fucking work. You know what I mean? That shit was loud, yo. You ain't gonna let me do that. Just give up on that fucking part. That's what I'm doing. And don't be mad. I can definitely be mad at somebody for being like, I'm not gonna let you in. But, you know, vibrations, vibrational energy. Although that spot would have been good. That spot would have been really good. Vibrational energy, stay in a medical school, right? Stay learning, stay getting better. You know, what you want to do is do something right and succeed in it. And at that point, you can criticize something, but you have to give it a fair trial and don't give up on a new approach that has any fundamental fucking thing. That's, oh my God, dude. You have to test something and put it through scrutiny before you just completely discard it and try it. That said, try things in as smart a way as you possibly can so that it's not a big old waste of time. Be willing to get worse in order to get better, you know? So you might have to learn to simulate new models and then cocky and funny versus canned game versus, you know, pleasant conversation model. And that's a model, there's something there, you know? So the point may be there, and you might have all these different models, and what you do is might put them together and wonder, why did the cocky funny model work? Can you put them together? Can you act like that and put them together? The canned game stuff, can you grab some of that and make use of it? So you might be trying to improve, innovate, and never consider new work done. Be always growing. And consider another area where I've gotten very good very quickly, and that is finance. You know, and that is one of the things. And being a market-beating investor for basically a decade, like Todd V, is that you need to invest. You might have a bunch of poker money, and you know you need to invest it. Did I touch your car?
Yes, you are.
Oh, my bad.
I'm trying to turn the light so you can let me out because I'm coming out.
Okay, so
So
then
you can have the whole
I'll just
space.
go. Okay.
You can just pull.
I tried to turn on the lights to make it easier for you to fucking parallel park instead of just pulling the fuck out while you're slowly fucking... God damn, dude. Whatever. I did not touch his car. So let's assume you have some poker money and you know you need to invest, and you have a friend who's working at a hedge fund, and you want to learn from him, and you say, if you were to invest on your own, what books would you read? And give you a collection of books, right? And maybe they're good books, right? You get a good source, you get good books. So as you're reading through those books, just any concept you don't understand, go on Wikipedia. Any concept that you don't understand, go on Wikipedia and learn. And additionally, if you did understand something, but it seemed like there was an opportunity because it sparked a curiosity, and there was meat beyond that, which was on the printed page, then go pursue that. You know, don't just try to race through those books. You know, maybe just read a page and then stop and ponder it for an hour. A lot of times people just try to blaze through shit instead of focus on the depth of understanding and the depth of knowledge. Things that ultimately would make you good at investing are not the breadth of knowledge, but things where you can have advantages. If you have that fucking knockout punch like in tennis, like a forehand, Agassi's forehand, and where you fucking have interest in a specific fucking thing. And I know Martin Shkreli, it's not working out, so it's whatever, but I think what he had a specific fucking thing about those rare diseases, and so that was one of the things that allowed him to be good at that business and have success in that market. The thing that allowed somebody like Todd Beaton being good at investments was not was not having knowledge about fucking everything. It was the little tiny details that allowed him to have a pursuit of the knowledge, you know, and where he combined shit and put it together. And a lot of people do value investing, and some do trading with options with more exotic instruments. So, in putting some of those ideas together, you might be able to find some opportunities that neither camp alone necessarily had. You know, but again, it's not like the cursory knowledge of how many fucking books that you may have read. It's much more important to concern yourself with the depth of knowledge you have on certain shit. You know? So consider that and do some push-ups, and I'll be back in a minute. 100 push-ups and 3 sets of 45-second leg lifts. I love you. It's weird, man. One thing that I'd like to tell my clients is you'll hear about Todd V studying game, and then like within, I don't know, a few short years maybe, hopefully it took him that long, he's fucking 9 beautiful women in New York on a regular basis. He's got a rotation knife. Don't tell yourself you're a failure if you're not on that level. Todd V is crazy, bro. He became like crazy good at chess, crazy good at investing, crazy good at pickup, all that shit. So don't beat up on yourself. Instead, compare where you started and where you were able to get. And then just celebrate that growth. Come here, baby girl. Come here, little lovey. You said you didn't hug me as much when you weren't on camera. I hug you a lot. Okay. Hang on, I gotta fix this, sweetie. Sweetie, I don't think you love this thing, do you? Is this thing too tight? Okay, but I gotta write. If I can find. No, I'm not doing it. Not until I can find something to fucking replace this makeshift fucking tag, because that one guy took off your tag for no good reason. Is this too tight? Somebody's lost some weight. Mm-hmm. Masculine pride. Okay. Good job on those push-ups. Very good job. I'm very proud of you, and I'm impressed. Good job. I'm so glad this didn't get tired. Check, check, check. Check, 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 masculine frame. I just totally forgot about all that. I totally forgot about it. Now, probably anybody who's ever taught pickup has done that video that's about how to talk for fucking ever and never run out of something to say with women. Now, that can be useful, to a degree, but of course it's got its limitations. So don't just stand there keeping your mouth moving, even though that's better than shutting up and self-amusing. It's way less better than what you could do. What you want to do is keep talking and focus on the girl and use her as a catalyst for always having something to say that's important. She is the catalyst for you to always have something to say. Now, you wouldn't believe the level of thought and intricacy that goes into something like Todd V's level of verbal game. So, you know. So, let's talk about an interaction. Now, and specifically put a focus on the channel of verbal communication and why it is things are said between a man and woman in intricate detail, you know? But don't necessarily try and adopt the same verbal style of someone else. But if you have an idea of an overview of the function of why somebody's doing what they're doing, then you can implement your own vocal style to understand it. So you can go up to a woman and say, "Hey, that look on your face was the most whatever I've ever seen in my life." So that's kind of like opening with a mini cold read, making a statement about her. Girls love the attention. It makes it relevant to her. It makes it about her. These hoes love that. They love shit being about them. These narcissistic hoes. No. Now, if you say something of value or about them, but you want to be careful not to make it too fucking validating, because then you just seem like a chode game. But don't make it too negative where she's feeling at risk socially. It's a good thing to immediately get someone's attention. I didn't need to hear this from these dating coaches. I learned this myself in Vegas. She didn't hear me, and she said, "What?" You know, and this is something I learned too. Don't repeat back the exact same thing you just said, because it makes you seem like a chode who's fucking being a servant to her, and it seems try hard. And she probably heard this, and she probably heard exactly what you fucking said. She didn't have some shit. She didn't fucking have anything to say, and she's buying time because what you just said fucking put her off her feet, you know? So fuck saying the fucking shit again. Use it as an opportunity to say some better shit or different shit. But maybe don't do it in a way that makes you look like you're lying about what you said. And figure out what set her off, what was triggering. You could say something similar, but tone it down depending on her reaction. She might have a negative response when a guy says something offensive and say, "What?" And then if you rephrase it in a different way, a lot of times the girls will go with it and not have a problem. Now, if it's something they found objectionable and she says, "What?" and you say the shit again, you're basically just doubling down the rail your whole fucking scene. It's subtle, but you don't want to let some dumb shit like that earlier said. So you probably just come back and say, "Oh, I just was trying to introduce myself. I'm such and such." And so be cognizant of what triggered a negative response or could have in her. So when you say something, tone it down, water it down, dilute it, make sure it doesn't have a negative response, and avoid the thing in it that was splashy, clickbaity, or risky. So don't derail your set. Don't take L's you can avoid. You do not want to repeat exactly what you said before. Definitely don't repeat the same fucking tone, and definitely don't report it in a monotonous tone indicating you're bored and frustrated with her for making you repeat some shit. And just in that situation, the best thing is just to do, oh, I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is such and such. You're very, and then give us something kind of cool, but not like you have nice tits, be something like you're very vivacious. Well, whatever. I used to always talk about women having a joie de vivre or a savoir faire because it gets that French shit in there. That was very big. And now a subtle little framing thing is apologizing for being rude for not coming over. It's like it's a nice little move. Two tiny things. But you say, I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. With the assumption being she wants to know you and you were impolite. It was bad that daddy didn't give little girls some chance to get validation, you know? So it's like daddy apologizing to the little girl that he didn't give her some floor time. You know what I mean? So if you start a set with a mini cold read and then you need to change your direction because she hit you with a what, and then you wind up diluting that with something kind of validating, to hit her up with another mini cold read or something that's of relevance to her, and try to get a cold read and get her reacting to you some way. Don't repeat what she didn't hear, but then when you have another opportunity, do another cold read. If that shit had blatantly not worked, you probably shouldn't try it again, but because she ostensibly didn't hear it, you know, you tell her you're very bubbly and happy. She says, that's not what I've ever got before. Well, I'll take it, and then you can play on that and be like, well, maybe it's my influence, and you can build value. And now you want to negate shit and be like, I'm a little concerned because you and I have a little bit too much of a connection too fast, and I'm kind of have more of a shy nature. That's frame control. So it's kind of a takeaway or a disqualification. So maybe you're saying things that you wish were true, or frames that you'd like to put in the interaction, and you might have something where the stuff you're saying, you notice that you might talk faster because you're trying to implement so many frames into the conversation, and you're hitting over these frames that are at rate, and this goes against how Mystery says to talk slow, and it kind of is the demonstration of low value, and that you're agenda driven. But that's something you need to do in certain contexts. Now, when you're trying to have a more mellow conversation, you'll notice it's good to make your verbal pacing slow down a little bit. And I do 100 push-ups and 3 sets of leg lifts. And you just got to know when to read it. When is it useful to talk slow? When is it useful to talk fast? And be aware of that communication method. It's something we rarely talked about in game. That was a cold approach. If she didn't hear it, you try the same thing again. You know, so then you continue on the set. Might be like, you're very bubbly, you know? And she might be like, I've never heard that before. And then you turn it into, well, that's maybe my influence. And then you're going to want to de-escalate when you validate, or I mean disqualify in the middle of validating or escalating. It's kind of basic frame control. You've probably seen it a million times. One thing you want to point out though is that when you go off on a tangent maybe, or you say things which you might wish were true or wish were put into the interaction, you can notice that the speed with which someone speaks might speed up. And what can happen is that by talking fast, trying to insert frames into the conversation, she's hit with a lot of different ones. You say something disqualifying in social proving, like before we go find our people, we both go find our people. Before we both go find our people, what is your story? So use the disqualifying false time constraint, and then ask her to qualify herself. She wants to get some of daddy's validation, and that's useful to a degree. But generally, when you are escalating, it's a good idea to disqualify the escalation at the same time, because that'll lessen the intensity of the escalation and make it seem like it's less of a big deal. So if you're going to touch her for the first time or something like that, or you say something like, I'm not so sure about you, I don't like you, something that's a little negative, a little playful, it softens the escalation, because it seems like then the escalation is not so forceful and direct, and it takes attention off of your escalation, because the attention would likely more likely be used on the level of validation then that's going on, you know. This is a principle that doesn't get taught enough in game. Is it's great to de-escalate while you're escalating, you know. So you have a big escalation and a small de-escalation, which makes the other one seem on net not that noteworthy. And then ask her maybe what surprises you about you, or what are other people surprised about you. And so she might say she's new to the area, and you can welcome her to your city, and mention something like how you got back from an 8-city trip and you're so excited to be back. So that's value demonstrations of, you know, you might want to, what does she want to know for you? And you might say, romantic walks on the beach, whatever. So oftentimes in sets, it's really useful. It can buy you time too, and it shows her that you're listening. So repeat back to her what you just said. That can be incredibly useful. If you said something that can be interpreted as a compliment, say back exactly what she just said, and it cements that it just occurred. If she slips up and validates you in some way, subtly call attention to it. Don't fucking spike the football like a fucking idiot. You know, I was spiking the ball a little bit there. Yeah. I think it was spiking the football a little bit. I could total joke. I think it was spiking the football. Fuck with me again. Piss me off again. Yeah, I think I was spiking the football a little bit. Total jerk. In the shit test example, it can be useful if you don't have an answer to the shit test. Sometimes try just repeating that shit back, you know? And like, because repetition of what a girl just said can be a useful technique in those different contexts. Now, a very minute detail. Say, for instance, instead of asking a question alone, maybe ask a question and give a little information, maybe a demonstration of value or a disqualifier on top of it. It'll take attention off the question. You ask, who are you here with? Which always used to fuck with me in my insecurity days. Who are you here with? It makes it sound a little more casual. You know, I never liked who are you here with, but maybe that was my fucking thing, because at times in my life I've been kind of a loner, you know, and so you ask a fucking loner who are they here with, it's got to be a fucking kind of, and especially when you're in that just out of college or still in college phase, and it's somebody you fucking went to high school with, and you're just like, aren't we done with all that cliquey fucking shit from high school, but you know. That's where having game and knowledge can help you stay out of that fucking butthurt, offended, anxiety-ridden fucking shit. Now, a lot of times in game, one of the things you can do, like I said, is don't just ask a question, but ask a question and put something on top of it. Some demonstration of value, or some negation, or some disqualifying shit, or, you know... Who are you here with? Is it just you or a bunch of friends? It can sound a little predatory or put it on the defensive, but it can make it sound casual and let her know what you're looking for and put across intent. It can be useful to establish a frame. A good question for logistics is, are your friends like super fucking babysitters of you? Or are they gonna let you fucking, you know, have some fun? So take pressure and emphasis off that shit if you're doing a soft close with logistics, and maybe frame that shit so that if her friends are very protective, to avoid being weird and creepy, kind of nudge her along to know what the right answer to that question is. Holy shit. Some of these motherfuckers are doing really intense breakdowns. There's a lot of shit you can do to break down shit, Holmes. My brain is fucking maybe a little on overload, and I just need to listen to some Lil Pump for a while, you know what I mean? Am I working hard or am I hardly working? I probably can't do this shit without. I'm gonna make a fucking grown man decision here. And not try and fucking have a fucking smoke break while my car's parked like an asshole, kind of fucking straight up, out of respect to law enforcement, really, and my fellow fucking traveler, people on the fucking roadways, you know? And that's a good fucking thing in life, is to be a courteous motherfucker. without being a doormat, you know? Because it'll help you avoid, in my experience, a lot of dust ups. And it just kind of makes you look like an attitude and out of touch guy. If you do that shit. Yeah, we got that. Not to say I wouldn't fucking take a little, because I'm kind of tired of fucking smoking inside the shuttle. You know? Take a little break here at a fire hydrant, maybe, because we're not going to leave the, you know, the area. Figure out where we're going next. Up to the hate. Alright. Fair enough. We're not even gonna take it. I'm gonna hold this thing, and that's why we do a little smoke break. You know, take someone like well, I don't know, take someone like Todd Beaver. I like the look. I like that well-bred white girl look. Various points in my life, I have more success with them than others. You're such a fucking hoe. I love it. Your boyfriend is a dork. McLovin. I just pulled up in the ghost. I F that F out in London. I pulled up on her sister or her cousin. I don't know nothing. And my egg is getting ignorant like a lighter. We ignite so much water on my neck. Feel like I fell when I went fishing. So much diamonds on my bus stop. Ooh, heck, what's the time? Smoking, purping, sipping, drink. Ooh, heck. She takes lines. You're such a freaking schmo. You're such a fucking putz. Don't slut shame. And you don't have to be like back to the salt mines, you know what I mean? let's talk about some indirect ways that men pay for sex outside of fucking prostitution. You know, buying expensive houses, getting medical licenses, different plans. I don't like that shit. It's expensive. If you go out as much as I fucking do, that shit gets expensive. That's one problem with it. The other thing is it doesn't really work. You know, to some degree, maybe that shit can work. And if you have enough money, you might be able to buy things. One of my friends was talking to an Indian guy who wanted to get white girls. Tell them you're not from India. Tell them you're from fucking Dubai. And it helps if you fucking suddenly have a fucking jet and a house that's on a hill that's bigger than other houses on the hill, and it's good if you have drugs around, and et cetera, et cetera. So he's kind of telling a guy a humorous way to use money to get girls. And the fact of the matter is, there's a way to get money with girls, and there's a way to not get money with girls. If you look at that example that dude gave, issue and not using the money itself as value. You know, to illustrate that point, what you might consider is a psychological experiment that has been done where they put people in a room and they were promised they would do something fun in the room. At which point they did like the most boring shit ever after being promised that they would do something fun. Tell that next person that the experiment would be fun. And this shit is complicated, so you'll probably need to listen to this shit like 30 times to understand what the fuck is going on. And that shit is so complicated. So, when people violate their integrity for a lot of money, it's easy to rationalize that they did it for the money. But when they violate their integrity for a smaller amount of money, they have to rationalize that it wasn't about money, and then they have to rationalize to make themselves feel that they're not a dishonest person. And so when you get girls for money, what happens is they can rationalize it's not about the money, but it's about the lifestyle. And then when somebody comes along with a better lifestyle, you can feel like out. And when you live with money, the type of way that they like you is different than some other reasons. And I mean, some girls will like you for your dick, honestly, that's a whole other thing. And a lot of things, if you girls will try to play you or game you. And as a guy who's achieved a certain amount of success in my life, what will happen sometimes is I'll have a girl that's ready to go down, ready to go home with me, and then if I say something about my success, her eyes will light up. Instead of taking me home to fuck, she'll want to fucking have a date, because she'll think she's no longer in it for the fun or the personality. But as soon as a girl views you as a guy with cash, with long-term potential, guess where you are, motherfucker? Not in fuck him tonight zone. And she won't want to mess it up. She won't want to seem slutty. She'll turn into the good girl who's like, oh, I want a beta milk provider who has some alpha qualities rather than just seeing me being an alpha. Now, I'll tell you a few stories of sad stories involving money and girls. A guy, you know, met a girl in Colorado and spending some money, time in town, and you know you were going to see the girl for like 3 weeks, and almost had sex, but not quite yet, and you can divide it. to come to Vegas with me and then meet her when I'm out there. I wasn't even trying to lead with money. It was actually just the only way that I could see her in the near time in the future. But then I had some other friends who were very much into the leading with money frame. And they're into the booking rooms and trips and scheduling shit. And what winds up happening with some guys is they'll wind up setting the trip, and then at the last minute, she'll ask if a friend can fucking come too, which is obviously not something I would like. But at that point, you fucking paid for the ticket. You see, well, all right, but this is how we'll see how the shit plays out. And the other guy maybe starting to shower with money and impress her, and that obviously made the girl turned off. So the other girl took a look at my friends and was like, I'm not sleeping with him. She literally came to Vegas. It was obvious she came to fuck a guy, and so she took a look at the friends, decided no, and took her friend. You got cockblocked because she took her friend to go fuck some other dudes who weren't trying to lead with money. So that was a waste of the plane fare. Now, if you picked a girl up at, let's say, a casino in Vegas, see this happen a lot, is a guy could be buried playing poker and he'd be down like $5,000 for the day and maybe talk to a girl in a flirtatious manner and indicate that he's been super buried and trying to fucking play it out. And you ask, well, when is your shift over? How long are you here for? And then you'd be like, well, if I'm even here, by the time you get off work, I'd love to get you dinner. And if not, I'll probably be too depressed to fucking take you to dinner, and I won't want to see you. But if it works out and I dig myself out of this fucking hole, then I'd be happy to see you. So I went to the cage. You can go make it look like you want much more money than you did. You want some back, but the purpose of buying the check was to look like you weren't losing. You did win check. And so you play the ball of card a little bit and take her to sushi and some shit. And not super crazy, but what usually happens there is you'll date her for a few weeks, and then she'll start dating somebody from the fucking casino who actually was a fucking baller, and then you come up and sees you're trying to play ball, and the girl usually will fucking end up going with somebody who actually is fucking baller. So maybe there you should have just kept it alpha and sexual. Now, if you look at this here, you don't understand what movies were telling you about men and women. Like sometimes until like the 18 or in your 20s, you spend all this time trying to have the perfect resume, have a good job, star athlete, all these things. And some of these maybe you did it for yourself, but for a long you probably fall in society's fucking indications that you're supposed to be fucking successful with a girl, but then you see all these fucking douchey dudes and creepy, awful douchey losers getting their dick wet all the time, getting the girls that you want. Because this fuckboy thing, and that happens to probably 90% of the guys in the world, if not the world. Because girls just want to have fun. They don't want to be fucking reading your CV. So you want to avoid using money to create the wrong frame. I'm not saying it's not useful to have money or you shouldn't attempt to be wealthy, but I'm just saying there's a lot of fucking road bumps and potholes that go with leading with money. Number one, it's better to use money indirectly to build a lifestyle to gain access to be around the girls you really want to be with and the type that you want to meet. Money can also be used to convey status in a positive way as opposed to a negative, exploitive way. Well, the key here is doing such in an indirect manner. You know, let's say you had a flashy, fancy car, and you walk around like, I have a Ferrari, I have a Ferrari, I have a Ferrari, I have a Ferrari, I have beautiful shit, everything is yours. It's cool that you have a Ferrari, but it's lame that you try to use it that way. If on the other hand, you're trying to tell a story and you're speeding, you're going really fast, and a police officer pull you over about red cars, and you're profiling you all the time, you're fucking, you know, you're telling a story that'd be good without that fact. What I think is good is just say it's a red cars, but don't get specific about how baller your fucking thing. If you know somebody's like trying to ask you what you do for a living, say you don't want to talk about it, some whatever really cool profession you have, go out of your way not to bring it up, but have it just come out naturally, and that's how it should come out. Don't lead with, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, I'm a patent attorney, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of guys, right when they get out of law school, past the bar, they fucking go around telling everybody. That fucking never gets you laid. And so you might be a guy who plays poker, is absolutely baller, and you still could use the money effectively to get girls effectively to buy drinks, host events and shit, and spend tons of money. But the deal was this: the guy didn't do it directly to get girls. Just use it to make sure those girls are having a good time, but not to fucking, specifically coercively do it to get sex or attention out of them. Use it on things you want to do rather than directly on trying to get girls, because a terrible frame gets set by that. Use it indirectly. It's best if she finds out that indirectly. One of my most serious relationships, not to say that being a licensed attorney is a big fucking deal, but she didn't even know I was a licensed attorney for like the first 4 or 5 months that we were together, And so I got to figure at some point when the lust of the early shit wore off, that was part of what kept her around for like 4 years. Because we changed a lot as fucking people in that time. So she probably didn't give a fuck about that shit at the beginning, but midway through the relationship she probably did. Alright, so think about that shit. Money is not that effective because it often sets bad frames. It's, it's just, money, yeah. So some other things that are important to realize about money and women is it's pretty lame to go around talking about, I have this degree, I have this license, I have this fucking vacation home, I have a Ferrari. But if you're telling a story where you can indirectly insert a demonstration of higher value, fine, but these women are pretty quick to suss that out. Now, telling a story that would be good enough without that fact, but if you throw it in, then it's not as bad. But if someone asks you, where do you live, what zip code do you live in, or do you rent or own, and shit like that, you try to not talk about that shit, but have those sort of things come up in an oblique manner, as though it's sort of an accident that they come up. Yeah. One way to use money fairly effectively to get girls is to buy drinks for people in an indirect, non-coercive manner and set up social shit. The key is, don't do it directly to get the girls. Don't even spend the money on the girls that you're interested, but spend it on the whole event and people on the peripheral of them to make sure that people have a good time, that there's a party going on. And then whatever happened may happen obliquely because of the party, that the money was you're able to fucking generate with the money. The key thing about money is spend that shit on yourself and your lifestyle and the things that you're into, rather than on directly trying to get girls, because that shit will set a bad frame. It's much better if you lead with it rather than money's an asset like any other, but can set a bad frame from the very start. It can be a positive if you use it well in an indirect, non-showy, obvious manner. Lastly, if you are in a one-night stand situation, do not fucking bring up material success, because she'll change the frame and you won't be alpha, I'm gonna fuck him tonight. So don't bring that shit up, because it'll change the frame. And then if it's a one-night stand situation, all of a sudden it's not, and she's trying to fucking shoehorn you into better middle provider fucking shit. Money is a logical construct that did not exist in evolution, and it can often change frames. So even when it does work, it can set a bad frame for your dealings with her. It can make you look needy or try too hard, or even if it does work, it turns you into a fucking more long-term, less one-night standing fucking type guy. An additional area where having wealth and lifestyle can help you, particularly where you're of interest in getting day twos or having the girl be able to sell you to her friends. I remember back in the Project Hollywood times, the guy Style, who wrote the book The Game, did not have the best game in the house by any stretch, but he was able to be very good at getting girls out on T2s, and because he was the writer for Rolling Stone and knew Marilyn Manson and Motley Crue and all this shit, and he was invited to high-end events. So think about that. When a girl's on the fence about you and you're invited to coffee versus invited to backstage at a little peak pump show or some shit, there's a little more draw to the second one. So some girls more than others, depending on what the event is. It's the thing you can use the lifestyle to your advantage. You don't want to make it so that you're like breaking the bank to fucking impress her, creating this abundant lifestyle and this perception for her, and then down the line you're discovered as doing some fake shit. She gets pissed because this was all the wrong premise and she falls out of love. But if you do have that lifestyle, go ahead and use it. Don't go out of your way to not be what you are. Genuineness and authenticity is important. And I know that's easier to accept for guys who are balling than guys who aren't. But, when you're not balling, like Alpha Male Strategy says, it's better to just fucking sell her on the idea that you will be balling, rather than try and fake high value, particularly if you want something more than a one-night stand, because you can get exposed, and then there's no congruence in the story that you can tell. So, I know I'm talking about a lot of esoteric, advanced, philosophical type stuff, but a question that comes up very, very often is how can you lose your virginity? I actually lost. Some guys have to go out for like a year and a half and they don't lose their fucking virginity until they're fucking. It happened when I was 16, but it should have fucking happened when I was 10 or 11, motherfuckers, and I'm still bitter about that. And it wasn't like once I got in, it was fucking opulent sexual lifestyle. It's like my first one is I basically stuck my dick in all the way. A little bit. She was like 2 years older, and she went to a different school, a private school, and we were making out, listening to Harry Connick Jr.'s Red Light, Blue Light in my fucking slope back Cadillac Seville, I think it was, brown. It was beautiful. It had the brown, the leather, the power windows, the nice little radio, the console was beautiful. And we would be making out in that like night after night during the summer after we worked out at the same place, this kind of nice little workout club kind of in a richer area of town. And we would be playing just the tip for like 3 weeks straight, and then finally I just sucked it in all the way. But I was so scared, and she was fine with it, but whatever. But I was so scared that I didn't continue, and she didn't say stop, but she also didn't say go. And that's how fucking, when you're that age, you can be very scared. So I technically think that's my virginity, but that kind of fucking sucks. It's not like I came right away. I didn't come at all. I just stuck it in for a bit, and I was like, yes, I fucking can technically fucking say I'm not a virgin now, because it was like the scarlet fucking letter. I was 16, and I'd been incredibly horny since I was like 10 or 11, and we moved around a lot as a kid, and it was hard to have social proof. Plus, I have a level of intelligence that can make it hard to fucking be just one of the guys and establish that comfort and rapport with women, so that you get that easy access and you live consistently and some shit. Plus, I grew up with a father who's incredibly into 12-step shit, and he's like 40 years sober. So I kind of got that mapped onto me, and I never drank or used in high school. So which helped in a lot of ways, I think. Helped me stay in a masculine frame, be successful and shit, but it really held me back in terms of my fuckboy game was very, very subpar, you know? But as far as my virginity, that, you can barely count that first one. It was nice, but I mean, sticking your dick in for 1 second is hardly enjoyable sex. So it's just like a fucking relief. The next one, I don't think even happened for fucking, that was the summer after sophomore year. In my first blowjob was sophomore year. One of the cheerleaders, the girl was a year above me, just basically had people come up and tell me that she wanted me. And then we wound up doing that at a friend's house. It was kind of a double date, and with a teammate and his girlfriend, and that was that. But she was rebranding the pussy basically because she had been fucking an older guy, and then it went bad with him or some shit. And then with me, it was like, okay, well, I was like, oh, well, so I'm your boyfriend now. You've already had sex, so we're gonna have sex, right? And I think she was basically like, no, you have to have game to get sex from me. I just didn't have enough game, bro. I was too validated, too valuable, too needy, and it turned her off. I wrote it out for maybe 4 months, and there's so much time on the fucking phone, and it was sweet and cute and everything looking back. But so this was a different girl. Some after sophomore year, just focused, stopped playing just the tip and stuck it in all the way for 1 second, and then I stopped there, and I was like, I don't want a rape charge, any fucking shit like that. And we continued to make out and date a few more times, but after that. But then I don't think I had sex. I fucking know, because I was, this was the biggest fucking deal of my fucking life. I know that I didn't have sex until the end of junior fucking year, when a senior girl who was just graduating, who was way more fucking sexually advanced than me, she basically did the same fucking thing as the first blowjob girl. She just basically, she showed up at my fucking house one day, I swear to God, and her and another girl I wound up having a fucking, torrid love affair with, who were both hot as fuck. They'd seen me playing tennis back in the day when I was really good at tennis, and I should have closed then. It was obvious they were both flirting with me, but such is the level. Anyway, the one, she showed up at my fucking house demanding I tutor her at the end of fucking her senior year and my junior year in like trigonometry or some shit. And I think we literally did fucking stand there for like an hour or two, and I fucking tutored her because I think I was so fucking stupid. I knew this might not be about tutoring, but I didn't have that ball of confidence and that killer closing instinct to just be like, this ain't about no fucking tutoring. Plus the house I lived in was just like, I was on my stepmother's turf. My dad's fucking never drink type guy, so it wasn't exactly fast and loose vibe. My dad's a fucking family physician, who's never drank in 40 fucking years. My stepmother pretty much didn't want me there. It was her, she only wanted me there on a very, very fucking specific fucking set of conditions. So it was not a comfortable place. In many respects. Okay? But anyway, she I fucking helped her a little bit on some shit. And then we wound up with trigonometry, and then we wound up going to the beach. And it might have been her idea or whatever. And we went to the beach, and then the first time we got physical with us, we were like under a blanket on the beach in the middle of the day, and I think I just pressed my leg against hers, and then kind of soft close. That's some natural game, some escalation, and we wound up going from there. These are back in the finger banging days. When finger banging a girl was like a big fucking deal. Feeling one breast was like a big fucking deal. But anyway, and I go back to the first time I felt the breast, literally skin-to-skin contact. I think that was fucking 9th grade. My first kiss was fucking 8th grade. But the first time I felt depressed was my 9th grade girlfriend in her dad's fucking classic car in the garage, and she said she felt like a hoe afterwards. She was from a very religious family. Now looking back, I'm like, dude, if you had game, you could have put balls deep in her all the fucking time. You just had to have some fucking game. But, you know, not all of us are fucking just naturals. Or we are kind of naturals, but the fucking environment we grew up in, you know, Magic Johnson announced he had fucking AIDS at the start of my freshman fucking year in high school. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden it was like anybody who fucking makes out with anybody's got AIDS, you know? And it really had a chilling effect on the sexuality of the era. As far as the first real time I fucking lost my virginity, besides sticking it in for like 1 second, and I want to make clear that I did not come. That was just, I pulled it out because we were basically on a just the tip fucking thing. And so she got a safe face and still thinks she was a virgin before going off to Notre Dame. And now she's like a PhD. And she was fucking spinning, let me tell you. So the next time I truly lost my virginity was the end of fucking my junior year, her senior year. I went and played a fucking summer league basketball game against our big fucking rival, Carson. I hit 3 fucking 3-pointers and scored like 36 points and dunked. And it was probably the best game I ever fucked. It's arguably one of the best games I ever played. I was like fucking glowing after it. And then I went over to the house afterwards. So this was like one of the greatest days of my life, you could say. I went over to the house afterwards, and her dad was a lawyer. They lived in a big sprawling estate fucking house, and while the cleaning crew was fucking there, this husband-wife team of Caucasian cleaning people, while they were there, and you had to have gotten the impression she had fucking done this before, and he knew what the scoop was, and that she liked to fuck, and they heard us fucking, no problem. Nirvana's Nevermind was on the fucking thing, and we fucked, and I lasted plenty long and all that shit, and then I tried to fuck her again later that night, and all of a sudden, like in the grass at our high school. I guess, I don't think we spent like, because this happened in the middle of the fucking afternoon, right after that summer league game, because it was sunshiny. And I remember being like, damn, she's sucking my dick. It seems like she's trying to make me come, because for some reason with the first girlfriend who gave me oral sex, I think I got the impression she wouldn't have been okay with me coming or some shit like that. And I was like, this is dope to have a woman just be so fucking forward sexually. And but I went through a long thing where girls just couldn't make me come from getting me head, and that's a whole different fucking story. Until I got more assertive, you know what I mean? But I was plenty assertive with that first one, because she used to fucking basically blanch at me fucking doing the fucking face fucking thing, you know, or trying to, or just pushing her head down and shit like that. And so anyway, I tried to fuck again last night, and then that thing, that I only got to fuck it like that one fucking time, and that was my virginity, folks. And then I don't know what the fuck, she lost attraction pretty fucking quick. I was probably a little silly with me too, or potentially she was just, you know what I think it was, is I think she was just running through dudes that week, to be honest, because I heard she fucking fucked another dude and his brother. And so that's what it was, folks. A nice, sweet boy. That was my romantic fucking. The first one's a little more romantic because we were at each other. The second one was a little more exploitive, but whatever. I was grateful to her, even though I'm not. You know, some people might be like, "Well, she just fucked me," and whatever. But I think one, I could have had more game, and two, whatever. Got it done, you know. And to talk in my real voice for a second, if I may, I don't even know what the fuck my real voice is anymore. when was the next time I had fucking sex? This is embarrassing to me because I want to detail this much better fucking sex life in high school. And remember, that's something I love about Todd V is he just lays it out, bro. It took him till 19, so for a fucking genius like Todd V, who had succeeded at so many fucking things, is such an incredible learner. That just tells you so much about being white and women and sexuality in that era. You know what I mean? It took him till he was fucking 19 to get laid. Oh my god. So I was sitting there feeling like way more baller than him. I'm like, I was 16, you know? But it's a crazy fucking world, you know? Living a crazy fucking compared phenomenal, and I'm not saying I'm like that, but compared to the capabilities that he and I had, the fact that we didn't get any pussy for all that fucking time, fuck you bitches. Fuck all the fucking fuck boys you were fucking regularly getting dicked down by. It fucking disgusts me, I'll be honest with you. I've let go a lot of the anger and toxicity I had about that fact, but it's not like Todd B and I weren't trying back in those days. You know what I mean? So all this fucking shaming about, you know, how we're trying to fucking blah 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 and pick up artists is bad. It's like, fuck you. Okay? Your girl's been juggling 8-9 dicks since you were 13.